Well, good afternoon and welcome. My name is David Alman. I'm the program coordinator for CTE Teach here at the Colton Redlands Yucaipa ROP. I am joined today by Melissa Dix, the program administrator and our director of education services here, and James Hattar, teacher on assignment for CTE Teach. And James has just put in the chat. If you're just joining us, put your name and your organization in the chat. We'd appreciate that. I will not be calling bingo numbers, but I definitely have been waiting to do a game show webinar. QR code and link to the slides is there on the first page, and James will put that in the chat. You know, from host to contestant, and I gotta say it kind of went downhill from there at The Price is Right, but Dream Come True, that aired in December. James, next slide. So want to hear from you. Let's find some new recruits, some new contestants. We do have a Slido deck here, slido.com. If you want to go and navigate to slido.com, James has put it in the chat, or you could go to the QR, utilize the QR code. One question for you: how would you convince someone from industry to teach CTE? How would you convince someone from industry to teach CTE? We all know we have friends, business partners, business contacts, someone that would be great in the classroom or being of even more help to career technical education. Someone said union job. Convince it is about building a legacy and promoting the profession. Definitely. Play to their passion for the industry and encourage them to carry on their knowledge and skill by teaching others, teaching the next generation. Talk to them about the silver tsunami and the need to pass the torch on to the next generation. So one of the things we'd like to do with these webinars is share different technology and things you can utilize in the classroom, that mentors can share with mentees, that administrators can share with teachers.
They have experience in the industry. Pay them for technology, years of experience. No mention of things like summers off and spring break off.
That could be
be a big one.
That could be because it's April and that seems a long way away, even though it's right around the corner.
And the holidays off. For those wanting to make a difference in the next generation, passion project.
So a big chunk of what we want to share with you today is about a teacher and administration recruitment and retention survey that we did in the fall of 2023 throughout the state. We had respondents from the south in San Diego to the north Oregon border, or to the California border with Oregon. We had them from the Bay to Tahoe throughout the state. It was really exciting to see how much participation we had. Approximately 550 teachers responded and approximately 200 administrators. So I will take you through the teacher responses. Melissa will speak to the administrator responses as we go through this. So of those 550 teachers, just over 500 of them were CTE teachers, and then less than 10% made up between teachers on assignment, other certificated staff, other classified staff, and mentors or instructional coaches. So it's really teacher driven when you're seeing the teacher results. Melissa?
Sure. And then on the admin side, we had everyone from CT directors, district and school site administrators, as well as some of those human resources folks that we know get all those new folks onboarded.
Melissa?
Sure. So, oh, sorry, this is all me. So administrators, so you can see administrator questions are in blue, like Melissa needs to pay attention to, and then the teachers will be in red. So we asked the administrators to classify the organization. So we were looking at suburban and rural districts, north, south, east, west, high school districts versus ROPs, county offices of ed, adult ed. We do have community college partners that are part of our CTE world as well. So you can see here the results and where those folks came from for our respondents, and most of them were with part of unified school districts, and most of them were from suburban districts. We also asked the administrators, and this survey closed out the end of 2023. So by December 31st, 2023, did you currently have any unfilled teaching positions open? So between late October to late November or late December, we still had just about half on our pie chart there of respondents that said they still had CTE teaching positions open in their district or LEA. So that means there are students that had substitute teachers in their CTE program. Ouch, right? And then we asked if you did have how many. And most of them luckily only had 1 or 2 open positions, but we do see a few respondents that said they had 5 or more of their CTE positions open. Hopefully those were maybe at the larger county offices and things, but we can see here that for sure we still had issues with unfilled spots, which is one of the reasons why we wanted to gather some of this data. We next asked them in their opinion, which industry sectors were hardest to fill. So you can see from here that marketing, sales, and service was the lowest, but engineering, architecture, health science, your ICT, manufacturing, construction, transportation were the most difficult positions to fill. And a lot of that makes sense when you think about salaries of the folks in those positions that they would be leaving to come to teaching, summers off or not, right? So again, those higher wage jobs, more difficult to fill to get them to come over to our side on education. Next, we asked about credentialing and if there was district level or LEA level support to help those teachers get credentialed for CTE. Most of the respondents did say no, that they did not help teachers get a CTE credential. Just under half did say yes. And then some would offer it just for their single subject teachers looking to get that CTE credential. A lot of times, if you talk to your single subject teachers, you'll find that they had summer jobs, or if they're new teachers, they might have been working full-time while going to school, and they may qualify for a CTE credential that they could, teach a couple of periods at and help your district or site get some of those CTE dollars that are out there. So we wanted to kind of ask that question to see who was leveraging some of their own funding to ensure that they could get more funding in general for their programs, and then more options for students through CTE programs. Next, we looked at, we asked questions specifically about recruitment. How are they recruiting? What do they do once they recruit them? So next you'll see some of the responses from that.
So teachers, what do you believe are the most effective methods for recruiting new CTE teachers? And the 2 top answers, EdJoin and networking referrals, word of mouth, but followed quickly by incentive programs, teacher prep credential programs, and industry-specific groups or business networks.
And we found administrators said the similar, but they actually their 1 and 2 flip-flopped. But their number 3 was industry-specific groups and business networks. So getting out there and talking to people, maybe in trade unions and professional organizations. And then they also rely on websites like Indeed and Monster, and reaching out directly to credential programs where there are teacher candidates there already.
What resources would help recruit new CTE teachers? How do we get people into the organizations? Biggest answer, financial support for credentialing. And then professional networks. So if you're being supported as a teacher, community outreach, building those business partnerships, followed by social media campaigns, online job boards, and marketing materials. There were 38 other responses, and those are shown there on the right, but those 38 responses are still smaller than the pre-populated answers.
We also asked administrators what challenges or barriers do they see in recruiting CTE teachers in our state. And here's the top results. So they said, again, like we've already mentioned, that industry salaries are higher than teaching salaries. A lot of folks, I think yours included, when they were back in industry, weren't aware that you could become a CTE teacher with just your industry experience and no degree or no specific teaching prep program and things like that to get you started. Compensation and benefits rounds out the top three. Next, they talked about barriers of lack of qualified candidates, cost or time of credentialing, competition with other school districts. So the district down the way might pay more than you do, or might have better benefits or schedules than you do, or maybe they've got new labs and things like that. Lengthy hiring process, getting through that bureaucracy in education, limited resources for recruitment, and then some also mentioned the lack of diversity in the candidate pool. And then again, there were additional fill in the blank questions, a lot smaller responses, but we wanted to point those out as well, such as lack of district level support. There are some issues people talk about when it comes to Social Security and losing some of your Social Security, some or all of your Social Security, depending on how much Social Security you had by your years in industry. That can be sometimes a barrier to get folks to want to come into CTE if they're not going to be able to teach long enough. And then some people read the headlines and the TikToks and things about those naughty students and parents. Sometimes it make teachers' lives difficult. So that might be a barrier to recruit people into the classrooms, especially in a post-pandemic world as well.
So we got them. How do we keep them? How do we keep the teachers in the classroom in education? So a bigger chunk on retention here. Melissa, about the admins.
Sure. So admins, we asked them how on average, how long do teachers stay with you once you do get them? And so they did say that they do have longevity. So that's, I think, a plus. One thing with longevity, as we know, and it was one of the previous answers to a question, is that silver tsunami that is kind of upon us. So great that you have longevity in your teachers, but are those the ones that are more likely to leave and for you to have more spots to fill? And then you can see here that the most likely tenure of your teachers was that 4 to 6 years. So they hit that 7-year itch, and that might be a problem sometimes.
Then what factors do you believe contribute to the retention of CTE teachers? And you will see out of those 550 teachers, 492 said competitive salary and benefits. 397 supportive work environment. So those two answers really took the lion's share.
Yep. Same for administrators, right? Money, money, money. And that support. We hear a lot of times that people don't leave jobs for pay. They leave it because the environment's not right, or it's a supervisor issue and things like that. So I think this shows that that teachers want that support. Administrators know their teachers need that support, and that could also be in mentoring and coaching and things like we provide here at CTE Teach. So you see that there is one of the top 4 answers as well.
The next slide is going to give a little detail on the other sections for the teachers. 12 answers fell in that other section. For the administrators, only 7 answers did. So those were well below the other answers.
Same thing for administrators, just minor things, right? We have onesies and twosies talking about not maybe having as much as they need as far as supplies and equipment. The students, great to see that only 2 people said that might be a reason teachers leave. So I'd much rather it be money than the students, as I think you would too.
For the teachers, we drilled it down to like their specific organization, saying what resources would help retain CTE teachers. Credentialing support. I know from experience that was a little tricky to navigate, and I'm glad I had our human resources department to get me through some of that. PD for administrators to better support CTE teachers. And we as a mentoring group feel so strongly about this. Nearly 300 people saying that professional development for administrators. You might have administrators who have never had any exposure to CTE. So one of the modules we developed last year was CTE for administrators, and that is available on CTE Teach. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a little while.
And for the administrators, what would help retain your CTE teachers? Their top answer were professional networks for CTE teachers. If you think about a lot of our districts, there may only be one engineering teacher or one ag teacher, one IT teacher, depending on what your programs are and what the industry sectors that are popular in their area. It may be really lonely as a CTE teacher, whether it's, one teacher on a campus or even one teacher in a district. So building those professional networks could definitely help retain teachers. The other one, similar to what the teacher said, is in-person training, teacher support for the staff and admin. So the people that are going to help surround those new teachers with the supports and things they need is important. And then third was that support for teachers through induction and mentorship.
Here's the other things. You'll find that salary pops up here again, the workload, supportive, respectful school culture to career technical education as the top answers in other.
Same thing for administrators. If you look at 1 and 2, we could actually say that was 22 people that said money, right? Whether it's money directly in the teachers' pockets or money that goes straight to the classrooms, that is important. And we know with CTE, you have to keep the equipment updated and you have to have the supplies so the students can have those real world experiences from the classroom perspective.
For teachers on their sites, what are the top reasons CTE teachers leave your organization? And still, number 1, number 2, salary, lack of support, but then also followed by workload. Fourth one, higher teacher pay somewhere else. Is it a neighboring district, a neighboring school, a different type of educational alternative? But nearly 150 mentioned retirement. 114 return to industry, 111 cost of living.
David, I wanted to mention there's a couple of comments in the chat. Jean has retention equals tenure. California CTE teachers are on temporary contracts no matter how long they are employed. And Rayanne says, if admin understands the CTE credential, many think you need a BA in addition to industry experience. Salary, yes.
Thanks, you guys. Teachers, are you satisfied with your current CTE teacher salary? Kind of point blank question. Over 220 said they were very satisfied or satisfied. 143 in the middle at neutral, and about 190 dissatisfied or very dissatisfied.
Administrators, pretty similar. If you think about the 200 that responded, you got about 25% that aren't satisfied with the salary they can pay their teachers. But on the other hand, nearly half of them actually are satisfied with that salary that they can pay their teachers. So kind of a mixed bag there. But I think we all know that we would pay all teachers more if funding were so.
So post-pandemic world, obviously a different world. Have you considered leaving or changing your CTE teaching position post-pandemic? And this is split pretty evenly 50-50. But if the answer was yes, what kept you in the profession or the organization? Your years of service and pension, top answer. Financial stability, benefits, and years of service, second. Love for teaching. The students, and administrative and organizational support. So I don't think it's uncommon to say that half have thought about doing something else, whether that be in education or out of education, but strong information on staying because they want to stay in the field.
We asked the administrators the top reasons they know or believe that teachers leave their organization, and they started right at the top with salary, but also retirement. So teachers aren't leaving because they necessarily want to or have to, but it's just time. So that goes to that tenure too that we saw on a couple of slides back. And then those are followed by return to industry. So whether that's teachers that just found that teaching isn't for them, or they just loved what they did before too much. Maybe that was better work-life balance and things. So I think in that return to industry, there's lots of things probably that go into that, but that did round out the top three. Like we saw in the teacher one, administrators are acknowledging that other districts in the area or the state may pay more than they can. There's also things like personal reasons or advancement opportunities. So they may be leaving teaching, but maybe they're moving up in your organization and other roles. And then back with cost and things is cost of living, not able, teacher salaries, maybe not being able to support that, especially in specific regions in our state. Workload, commutes, and things round out those top answers. Some of the other previous ones are those lucky ducks in those districts that says none have left them. And then we've got those kind of those naughty students, class size, lack of updated equipment and things also, and some of the other reasons.
And then because we're interested in mentorship, we asked a couple questions having to do with CTE teacher mentorship and professional development. Does your organization have a mentoring or induction program for new CTE teachers? Because we think it's vital the teachers are supported. And over 300, just over 300 said yes, no's 135, unsure was 120.
For the administrators, overwhelmingly yes, with 135 of those 200. Interesting, the not sures, those were maybe human resources folks or people in different roles in the district that weren't necessarily directed straight to the classroom. So hopefully a direct administrator would know that they had support for new teachers, right?
And then how often do you receive professional development opportunities or training? Over 120 monthly, just under 120, 2 times a year. Those could be in service. Quarterly, just over 100. Less than 2 times a year, just over 100 as well.
And for the administrators, 51 of them said monthly. And then we had more than once a month, 23. That's amazing. We did have also a big number on quarterly. I'm going to say sadly, some of this folks did report that only twice a year do they provide professional development to their new teachers. So when we look at reasons why teachers leave and things, they're not always going to tell you when they leave that it's because they didn't get the training they needed, right? Or they didn't feel supported as they needed. So if you're not providing PD for new teachers, at least on a quarterly basis, I would definitely look at that.
So we have shared this information with the CDE, the California Department of Education, and will continue to do so, and also devising an action plan. The good thing is that there has been a lot of talk about the recruitment and retention within the CDE this year. It has come from the career technical education side, but it's also come from the office, Tony Thurman's office. So a lot of people are talking about it and trying to do something about it, looking for different ways to recruit teachers, what can be done to retain teachers. It feels good that we're not the only ones pounding that into people's mind. One of the other things that you will see us come out with still in the next couple of months is a recruitment toolkit. So on the left-hand side of the screen here, you see some messages that you could utilize, and we will make these shareable, where you could put in your own district or school logos. And if you want to use them for social media messages, if you want to use them on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, if you want to use them for job fairs. We'll also develop a graphic resource bank that would have a plain graphic that you could input your information on the plain graphic, Zoom backgrounds, slide templates for a presentation such as this. And James will share some of this with you in a few slides here when he talks about generative AI and some exciting new things. On the right-hand side of the screen, we've been scrubbing the internet for resources for teacher recruitment. Some of those are listed there, and we'll develop a page for our website on ways to recruit and retain teachers.
David, I wanted to mention there was a previous comment about not a lot of people from industry know anything about EdJoin. So this would be a great way for those districts to utilize this teacher recruitment toolkit to get the word out. And then whether it's EdJoin or Indeed or whatever, or LinkedIn, however they're looking for people from industry to become CTE teachers, this would be a great resource for them to educate those people from industry on how to find jobs out there in their local districts.
Yes, you're right. Jean is right with the comment. We've got to educate people on how they can get into education. So, we're going to have a little something to say about CTE Teach. James, go ahead. If you don't know, CTE Teach is our website and our program. It is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We aim to have mentoring support for mentors and new teacher training available on there. James, you want to give a little reminder about just the end of year at the end of June?
Basically, with cteteach.com, when you are using our and then you're enrolled in the courses, especially early orientation, you want to go ahead and finish everything by June, probably mid-June, and make sure you get your certifications, because once we clear out the system for the next school year, everything will be lost. So those of you in LEAs that have students that are taking our online courses, might want to give them a heads up. But again, we'll give you about a month's notice to make sure that anyone that's currently enrolled and have not completed those courses, to get them done by the date in June. And we'll get you, of course, heads up on that. We do have updates to our website for the instructional technology section, where we added some things on AI, and we'll talk about that in just a sec.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is the landing page for CTE Teach. If you are unfamiliar with it, top middle there says online courses. James has made additions and exciting additions to the instructional technology, with so much happening with generative AI. And then, like I said, last year we added a module on CTE for administrator CTE. If administrators need a introduction to CTE, there's a course just for them. Also last year, and I'm very happy that Jean and Rayanne and Lupe are on the call, because they were industry sector mentors for us last year and added and utilized and just made available resources. So there are CTE Teach industry sector resources on our page too. Each sector has things like assignments, labs, worksheets, presentations, projects, videos that you are welcome to utilize. If there are others you want to add, please let us know. We would love to keep the information coming. Speaking of breaking news and information, James has got some really good stuff here on generative AI, and I'm going to turn it over to him.
Thanks, David. So real quick, since we finished the survey results, I just wanted to go ahead and put in the chat the link for the complete survey results. A lot of the information that was not condensed for the version that you saw today. So it's interactive. It's through Canva that we created, and you can actually click on some of the information. It'll expand it and get you more information as you're looking through it. I went ahead and added those survey results. So you'll have access to that, and all the links that I have in the chat will be shared with everyone at the end of this webinar in the next day or two, including a video. So AI is everywhere. We've been talking about this before. I went briefly a couple of webinars ago talking about AI and how it can be used in the classroom, the pros and cons of it, and so on. Maybe some of you are getting more comfortable with it. Maybe some of you, this is still new, or you're just kind of afraid to touch it. It's a great way to help you in the classroom, especially those districts that are trying to recruit new CTE teachers, especially people from industry. So what I'm going to do today is I'm not going to necessarily talk about AI in the classroom, but this is a great way for people in the districts to put together something to help with your toolkit. So we're sharing a toolkit with you with graphics and templates and so on. But what about something that's more personalized to your district, or if you're looking for a certain industry person to hire as a CTE teacher? So I wanted to give you an example And I actually have a prompt that I put together that I'll share with you in just a second. So what I did is there's a free version of ChatGPT. Before, ChatGPT basically wanted you to log in, even though it was free. Now you don't have to log into ChatGPT to use it for free. Anyone can just go ahead to ChatGPT and just start putting in information and it'll start giving it to you. The only thing that it doesn't do, as opposed to logging in for the free account, is that it's not going to save any of your results for future use in case you want it. So I just wanted to let you know that there's also a paid version of ChatGPT, and this is the one I'm going to go into a little more detail on how you can use that to help you with the recruitment. So what I did is I wanted to create something interesting like a video, something engaging for social media. So what I thought is I went ahead and asked ChatGPT to create a narrative inspiring 20-second video that I could use. And I wanted animation and so on. Now, this is the paid version of ChatGPT. Now, technically, it costs about $20 to $25 a month. There is no school discount as of yet. That's something that's being discussed. But in the meantime, if a school does want to pay for it, you're looking at a yearly cost of up to $300 a year. So it doesn't sound cheap, but in the long run, if you share it with a bunch of teachers or people in the district, it'll probably work out for you. The nice thing about it is that with this paid version of ChatGPT, there's a section up here on this top left that gets you an area to explore other apps within ChatGPT. So instead of giving me, let's say, just text, I can actually create charts, graphs, create a template, make images, create a video, and so on. So what I did is I found something called Video GPT by Veed. And this is all part of the paid version of ChatGPT. I can look up anything and find something that I could create. And I'm going to go ahead and put the prompt that I created that you can all use. It's a PDF form, and I'll show you that in just a second. And something that you could take yourself, throw into ChatGPT or any other generative AI that you might be using, and try to create something specifically for your district or an industry. So the way I created this is I asked it specifically create a narrative video. And then Video Maker went ahead and started asking me questions. It started to break down how the visuals should look like, what the narration should say. And it actually created like a little script for me if I want to do a narration. And let's say you have a digital video production class. This could be something that they could put together for you if you just don't want to do it yourself. So it gives me a breakdown of impact of CTE, the call to action on becoming a CTE teacher, and a closing. It gives me actual details of how the animation style should look like. So let's say if you have an animation class, they can get involved and create an animation for you. How long should the video be? And so on. But I wanted to break it down even further. So you could see here, it started to create images for me. Now this looks very busy, and I wanted to continue because I wanted to see what else it would create. Here are some more images that I can add into my video. Again, it looks very busy. And the nice thing about it, and I'll go ahead and click on this. The nice thing about this in the paid version of ChatGPT is I can take this, highlight certain areas, and I can go ahead and type at the bottom whether I want to delete something, change it to something else, make it from male to female, fix the fingers. This thing in the background looks really bad. So I could say remove. And then once I type that, within about a minute or two, depending on the traffic on the internet, it'll fix that for me. So I just wanted to show you how simple that this could be. You could all do this within the same chat or the template that you're working on. And it continues and starts to create more images for me. I asked it specifically, can we make the image less busy? And it gives me this. However, it says career tenaction, which is probably going to be a new phrase we're going to use instead of CTE, career tenaction. So it gives me another picture of a doctor becoming a teacher, but when's the last time you saw a teacher dressed up in a full suit? So I asked it to fix it. And going through all this, I wanted to show you how I was able to take something and make it a little more casual. So with that in mind, I started to break it down even further. I wanted a 20-second video. I didn't want a 3 or 5 minute video. So I asked it again, can you create an inspiring 20-second video with engaging animations, convincing a target audience of industry professionals into becoming CTE teachers in their community? Again, it starts to break it down. Now, it starts to ask me, how do I want the video to look like? Who do I want to narrate this? I have a choice of 6 people here. I can change the text to something else, and this person will go ahead and speak whatever I put into the script. I can pick a male voice, female voice, and so on, accents and everything else that you can think of. Once you wait about a couple of minutes, it produces a video. Here's another couple of images that it created for me after I corrected it. Instead of an animation, I wanted something probably a little more realistic. So this picture here looks like it's an actual picture of a teacher talking to students, but this whole thing is completely AI.
Transform your expertise into impact. Imagine taking your years of industry experience and using them to inspire the next generation. Become a career technical education teacher in your community and turn your professional skills into powerful lessons. The future is in your hands.
That was 100% completely AI. That man is not real. The voice is not real. It was all done based off of the script that I worked on with ChatGPT, Video Maker, and this is what it created for me. Something you could use for TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I can make it longer. I can actually fix the aspect ratio of the picture to match whatever social media you're using. And I can change the music in the background. I can change the images. I can even change the script in the middle and have it say something completely different. And it's something that you could do as part of your toolkit to create something interesting for your specific district. And then I went ahead and tried something else. This was something I just did really quick. It's not perfect, but here's the next video.
Transform your expertise into impact. Imagine taking your years of industry experience and using them to inspire the next generation. Become a career technical education teacher in your community and turn your professional skills into powerful lessons. The future is in your hands.
So it seems to be the theme of the future's in your hands, which is what ChatGPT gave me. So that could be something that we could use as a basic theme to get industry to become CTE teachers. The future's in your hands, or the future industry professionals are in your hands, and so on. The only thing I added was our CTE Teach logo on that. So imagine putting your school district logo on there and just using the same type of video. It's the middle part of that video. I actually found a video of one of our students in action, helping out with doing blood pressures to the elderly in the community. And so I went ahead and kind of snuck that in there. So you can the possibilities are limitless when it comes to what you could do with these AI videos. In fact, you probably see these videos now on YouTube popping up, and they're commercials, but you can kind of tell there's something off about it. So it's basically AI. So they're making videos on AI.
And James, to
Yes.
create those took how long?
The first video, not very long, probably took about 5 minutes. And then with some editing, on my part, adding the school logo, kind of fixing the sound, the music, the timing of some of the images. Probably took me about maybe 30 minutes after that, but I like to be a perfectionist when it comes to these videos. But I wanted something that I could share up on our social media. And if you follow us on social media, you probably have seen that first video. And with that, I want to also share some resources with you. And David is so happy to know that we're sharing resources with you guys. And it's really tough to get David to clap for something, especially something that I share. So this is very important in my life. So thank you. First thing I want to share with you guys is AI resources is AIAIO. This is from Eric Curtis, and Eric Curtis actually is a techie expert in career technical education and education in general. He has a very engaging presence on social media. He does a lot of guest speaking with anything tech related in education. And so I took a lot of his resources and I'm sharing it with you guys. And Eric Curtis has videos on AI, on how to use it, a breakdown of some of the most used AI sites that are out there, including ChatGPT. Gives you a basic example. He tells you what is generative AI, kind of gives you like a lesson on it. He has all the language models, including ChatGPT, Microsoft Copilot, Google Gemini. These are all free generative AI that you can use. All you got to do is just sign up, or use your current account like Google or Microsoft. DALL-E is one of the ones for images and so on. And a lot of these connect to your generative AI for you to create images and videos and so forth, like I did. So all this I'm sharing with you guys, thanks to Eric Curtis, and there's a lot of great stuff in here. So this will probably take you a good year to go through. Just another thing I wanted to show you is there's an AI for that. This is a search engine of all the different generative AI that's out there. You want to make a video, just do a search for create video, and you'll get multiple different options to choose from, some paid, some free, and you could just play around with it. Some of them actually give you a demo to play around with as well, with the paid sites. Top AI Tools is another great search engine for nothing but AI. And Future Tools was something that I found with Eric Curtis, is a collection of the best AI tools that are out there, including Gemini and Music Maker and so on. Futurepedia is basically AI software and tools in various categories and industries that you can use and play around with. So maybe if you're a manufacturing teacher or a mechatronics teacher or a video production teacher, you can find some free software that uses AI, and you can start creating things with your students. Any questions on any of these? I know I'm kind of going through this kind of quick, but I just wanted to let you know the possibilities are there. You have these resources. And again, David will be sending out the links for everything that we're sharing with you and PDFs in the next day or two. And a video of this whole presentation as well.
Yeah, if you haven't done any exploring with generative AI, take a chance, start slow, see what's available out there, because it can do so much, and it's important to learn about it. James has advanced us here. We will have one more CTE Teach webinar this school year, and that'll be in about 5 weeks. It'll be Wednesday, May 22nd, and we'll be talking about some ideas for teacher boot camps and welcoming teachers back already in 24-25. Please like and follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, X. We're still posting stuff. Like James said, he just posted the video yesterday that he created with generative AI. And if there's questions, please feel free to stay on and chat with us. Otherwise, we're done for the day. Have a good week, and we will see you in May.